Let's try that again. Take 2. Alexa, play some award show music.
Here's a playlist you might like. 50 great 80s rock songs on Amazon Music.
Well, let's see.
Apparently, the CHESTIE Awards official theme is Journey. Don't stop believing. God damn it, Alex. We can't even do a fucking award show right.
Of course we can't.
And Margaret Brave
Slow down, girl.
And Margaret Brave says BB Brave is the shitty wrestling podcast.
You took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Alexa, stop.
Oh wait, that's the Tonight Show theme.
Alexa, play game show music. See what she does here.
Game show Ring 30 by Fabrizio Albani, starting now on Amazon Music.
Hey!
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2019 CHESTIE Awards!
Live from McCarthy-Adele Square Gardens in luxurious Davenport, Iowa.
With your host, Timothy Regal.
And Alex McCarthy.
Alexa, stop.
That was way better.
I know, that was way better, but we still had to stop the music at some point.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't think Alexa can fade out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2019 CHESTIE Awards. Alex, it's been a great year.
Are they the 2019 CHESTIE Awards or the 2020 CHESTIE Awards?
These are the 2020 CHESTIE Awards, where we celebrate the best and occasionally worst of professional wrestling in 2019.
And the decade.
And the decade, possibly.
The decade.
Alex, what was your favorite moment of the decade for professional wrestling? I mean, I'm assuming your favorite moment of the decade for you is probably either when you got married or lost your virginity, which we're probably.
I didn't lose my virginity this decade.
Oh, really?
No.
I figured. I just assumed they were the same day. So.
No. 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 No.
Stop.
No. No.
2020's off to a bang, Alex.
Literally. Australia's on fire. Give money to Australia.
Yeah. Pray for Australia, guys.
Pray for Australia. Send them some money.
Thankfully, all of our Black and Brave kids are okay.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. From what I've seen, all of our Black and Brave kids are okay.
Not our Black and Brave kids. Our friends who are Black and Brave kids.
Our friends who are Black and Brave kids. Of course, Mr. Zeke and Dino, Jackson Kelly, Aya, Tarley. They are all good. But yeah, guys, pray for Australia if you can. Donate. Look for the good charitable causes and donate to them.
Are there bad charitable causes?
You gotta be careful which charity. That's a whole can of worms. Just be careful. Do the research on which charities you donate to. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Some nonprofits aren't exactly nonprofit. Let's just put it that way.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I can see a lot of scammers trying to take advantage of this.
Oh, absolutely. But now, in all seriousness, CHESTIE Awards, Alex, it was a great year.
I
always said one of these we should do right like the full award show monologue.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
Do you think we'll do a podcast next year?
Maybe. We don't know yet.
We don't know. We haven't decided.
We don't know. We're figuring it out.
You know, we're going through WrestleMania for sure.
Stuff can happen, but Alex, like I said, 2020's off to a legitimate bang. I mean, I've probably seen 3 of the best matches of the year in 2020 so far, but
the Fans Bring the Weapons tag team match from Beyond Wrestling. Team Tremendous
that
against Bear
wasn't
Country.
2020. I always forget that.
Yeah. Well, not here in the Midwest, but where it was 2020.
Oh, I watched it on VOD. I did not.
Well, so it only matters when Regal watched it. Hey, I watched this great match. The best match of 2020. It was the 1992 Royal Rumble.
So wow. Well,
but I watched it in 2020.
So it's like my movie rankings. I have seen a couple great movies.
Hey.
We're up and running here.
Nobody wants to hear him talk.
Everybody wants to hear Righteous Jesse talk. He's the best ring announcer in the business.
No, he's not.
Oh, he totally is.
No, I like Righteous Jesse quite a bit. But, you got Rich Palladino.
Righteous Jesse is his own animal, though.
No, Righteous Jesse's very good at what he does, but that's what I like is there's so many, different styles of ring announcer. I kind of think of myself as a more classic traditional, and then you got this motherfucker in a camo hoodie and shorts.
Covered in tattoos.
And wearing a backwards baseball cap.
Screaming at the top of his lungs.
And screaming. If I tried to ring announce like that, I would get slapped upside the head and told to go the fuck home.
The powers that be at CW Pro would throw you out, would literally launch you out of the building.
Where's your $10, dipshit? You don't work here anymore.
Exactly. But Alex, you got the awards listed down there. I've only seen 2 of these awards, so I'm literally. You wrote them down. I always like to do it kind of where I go in completely cold and have to come with it off the top of my head. So
that's his way of saying he doesn't want to do any of the fucking work, so he makes me do all of the work.
No, you literally just wrote them down in a yellow legal pad. It took you 30 seconds.
It took me way longer than 30 seconds. I got a hand cramp.
Oh, stop it, you whiny little. You whine almost as much as Jay White.
You know what? First award is who's going to get the ass beaten of the year, and the winner is Timothy Regal.
Why'd you hit your elbow with your hand, Alex?
I'll fucking kill you. Who's this nerd? Who is this nerd?
That's the ref with glasses. He's that little guy.
The ref with glasses, that little guy.
That's going to be his name. That's what I'm going to call him.
The ref with glasses, the little guy. This stream quality, there's something wrong with their stream quality today.
And the fact that I don't think they're using sideline cam. Normally they're multi-camera.
Yeah, there's no roaming cam.
Moved.
It's all hard cam seat filler. Anyways, yes, you were not doing a sub watch along. Is this Donnie Janela?
Probably.
Sorry, I'm distracted. All right, this is a blank sheet of paper. Our first award. We'll just start with this one. I'm gonna go in whatever order I want. I'm not going in order. The thing about the Packers. What was that?
Okay. So our good friend, Mr. Nathan Seacrest.
I've never met this motherfucker.
He was one of your predecessors, Alex.
Okay.
Former FCW Pro Ring announcer Nathan Seacrest sent a award of biggest moment that the refs cheated for the Green Bay Packers, and the winner of this award is. Fuck you, Nathan. Okay? The Packers don't cheat.
Wow.
We rule. The team that cheats found out last night you can't cheat enough, and occasionally you do lose and lost a playoff game in the fucking New England Patriots. Okay? So, no. The Packers don't cheat, Nathan. You're an asshole. That's the winner of the award. Nathan Seacrest. The winner of the Nathan Seacrest is an asshole award for 2019 goes to Nathan Seacrest.
He probably doesn't even listen to this show.
No, I'm sure he fucking doesn't. But
the award for
he's a Vikings fan too, so fuck him. Hopefully they're losing right now.
The award for worst fans in the NFL go to the Green Bay Packers fans. Woohoo! Is it 1997 anymore? Tell me some more about Brett Favre. Woohoo!
Who? Oh, that guy that sent Jen Decker from AEW his dick?
Whatever. Wow. Yeah, you used to like him.
Oh, dude, I still have multiple Brett Favre jerseys sitting in my closet. But we have Aaron Rodgers now, and he rules. We got a first round bye. I get to sit back today and see who we get to play. I don't even have to worry today because my team was good enough to get a first round bye in the playoffs. So. Best fans in the NFL go to the Green Bay Packer Nation.
Oh, fuck off.
The worst fans in the NFL by far goes to Adam Gardner, a fan of the Dallas Cowboys.
Packer fans are insufferable.
No, Cowboy fans are way fucking worse. By the way, I think the screen completely froze.
Thanks, Regal. No, I thought they were just doing the fucking, what's that called? The mannequin challenge.
Oh. I mean, they're doing a really good fucking job of it if they are.
I hate you.
I
awesome. Hate you so much.
I'm awesome.
I hate you so fucking much. it must be working for other people because John G's texting me about the show.
Here we go.
Yeah, I restarted the stream. Yeah, geez, could you imagine what would happen if...
What is this, Go Fight Live?
I was... Fuck off. Why are you burying our friends?
I'm not.
They said if someone had an emergency and something went wrong, and here you are fucking burying them.
I know, I'm burying Go Fight Live. You remember Go Fight Live?
No.
Oh, God. Go Fight Live is what Ring of Honor originally was on for iPay-per-view. And every show, I would never order them because every show it would fucking crash. It's what...
Wait.
Yeah, it literally just jumped a match, I think. I have no clue what the hell is happening. We just literally... That's Logan's Dom Garrini in the middle of a match. So, I have no clue with it. But...
Anyways, that was weird.
Unfortunately, our friends over at IWTV are having some issues today, in all seriousness. We love those guys.
Yes.
Award for Best Streaming Service of 2019 goes to IWTV. I don't know if that's on the list.
Make up awards.
I just made up an award. I'm making up an award.
The whole thing is, and see, this is the problem with this. First of all, if you're listening to this, fuck you, because...
Wow!
If you're listening to this, fuck you, because you were supposed to send us categories, and you didn't, and Regal, because the whole gimmick is, we don't pick the categories, we pick the winners. Because every other award show is they pick the categories, you pick the winners. We do ours backwards. It's the fucking Jeopardy of award shows, and it was my idea. Because anything that was a good idea on this podcast was my idea. All this motherfucker ever did was lean on a ring post. That was the last time he's done anything. Except for run his mouth. Anyways, so, if you're listening to this, fuck you, because you didn't send us good categories. Like, 2 people sent us categories, one of them being my good personal friend, Bill Wilson, who you probably never even met, good friend of mine, who, from Canada, and from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and, Bill Wilson, a stand-up guy, unlike Regal, who's currently sipping on some, what is that?
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet Dr. Pepper, and, Bill sent us some categories, and, Chris Angle sent us some categories, Zach, sent us a category.
Yes, a category.
Zach Davidson sent us a category. This podcast brought to you by the U.S. Postal Service. Hey, when they privatize, do you think they actually could sponsor us?
Maybe. You never know.
I don't think any of the postmen want that.
No, they don't. Zach is adamantly against it.
Who is?
Zach.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's the whole point of this thing. Anyways, y'all didn't send us enough categories. So Regal was like, let's just make up the categories. Because he has no integrity, and he wants to bastardize the entire premise of the award show. So here he is with a best streaming service, which was not something that you, our wonderful, hardworking, paying customers, asked to hear.
Hey, they're paying us? How come I've never seen a dime?
What dime do you deserve? What dime have you earned?
My name's on the fucking podcast, you fucking asshole.
That's not your name.
Fuck you.
Your name's Tim Dillon.
Kayfabe!
Kayfabe. If I don't get to kayfabe, you don't get to kayfabe. Anyways, go fuck yourself. And so the next category is...
And while you're fucking yourself, get your topics ready for the Hot Take Rumble.
Yes, we're going to need topics for the Hot Take Rumble. We need 30 topics, 2 minutes
Come
each.
on, you guys.
It's the fastest hour in podcasting.
I know, in all seriousness, guys, we love you all. But we know there's way more people that listen to this than send us categories. Come on, guys. All we're asking is hit the goddamn reply button on a tweet or a Facebook post. Come on. I don't want to
pander. Or you can just tell us in person. You can write me a note.
Send us a fucking carrier pigeon. I don't fucking care.
Wow, why are you cussing so much, Regal?
Actually, if anybody wanted to, because Righteous Jesse rubs off.
Speaking of fucking yourself, what? Righteous Jesse's rubbing one off? What? Oh, wait, wrong podcast. Sorry. Anyways.
Wait, when are you doing a podcast with Kat?
I'm not.
Remember when me and Kat wanted to do a podcast and you wouldn't let us?
No, that was you wanted to do that.
When Kat wanted to too, you wouldn't let us.
Shut up.
When did Brian Pillman Jr. and Jake something have a love child?
All right, our next category, live from Facebook Messenger, from the world's greatest martial arts master, Sensei Bach. He wants to know, arm drag of the year.
The best arm drag of the year?
Yes. Seriously, who are these? Is this the Death Threat Army?
I think so.
Okay.
Alex, who do you pick as your arm
I'm gonna
drag?
give it to Sensei Bach. Although I don't think I've seen him wrestle a match this year.
I saw him wrestle one back in January and February, so I'm gonna also give the arm drag of the year award to Sensei Bach.
And that's only because he sent us a category.
Yes.
We have no idea if he's good at arm drags or not.
Sensei Bach is great at arm drags. They're they were taught to him in the Shaolin Temple in China.
What the fuck?
Well, he's the world's greatest martial arts master.
You know who else was good at arm drags?
Chris Jericho?
Ricky the Drag on Steamboat.
Ha
Ah, hey.
Hey, IFHY.
IFHY. He's really like I talked about this last week. I think Jonathan Wolf has lost a lot of weight.
Yes, he has.
He's actually really starting to look like an athlete.
Who's the chubby dude?
That's Sean Kemp.
Sean Kemp. Okay.
Yep.
There's like 20 people in IFHY, so I can never keep them straight.
I think there's like 6, but yeah, that's more than you have fingers on one hand, so I can see how that'd be hard for you to keep track of.
All I need is one finger on one hand, motherfucker.
Hey, fuck you. Whoa. Regal can do it with one finger. Anyways, I can do some things with one finger too. But anyways, Jesus Christ.
Are we sure we're not on that? You're getting your podcast confused today.
I really am.
Another podcast.
I ate that mimosa this morning.
Is that what happened?
Yeah. The diner.
Where'd you go for breakfast?
The diner, where we always go. The diner had free mimosas for teachers today.
All right.
Off free mimosa. You can get 1 free mimosa.
All right. Good deal.
I like this ref. Anyway, so our next category is 17 minutes into the fucking podcast.
We finally the second or third category. Okay. I was worried we weren't gonna have enough.
Best Conrad Thompson podcast.
For me, so here's okay. I will preface this by saying, every Conrad Thompson podcast is awesome because they're all different. Literally, every podcast has a slightly different spin. Including now you have the newest one, the podcast with a professional wrestler in Arn Anderson. You have the podcast that talks about the business side, which is 83 Weeks. You have the podcast that is, the Deep Insider, which is something to wrestle with. And that's the granddaddy of them all. But the best Conrad Thompson podcast, in my opinion, the podcast that is the most fun, the podcast that literally has almost made me drive off the road while driving to work, is What Happened When with Tony Schiavone. It is absolutely hilarious, amazing, funny. It literally resurrected the career of Tony Schiavone in 2019. I mean, he's back on TV every Wednesday night on TNT and doing an amazing job. So for that, the best Conrad Thompson podcast award for me goes to What Happened When with Tony Schiavone.
All right.
Alex, your take.
I only regularly listen to one, which is 83 Weeks, because I basically, ever since I can remember, I don't know why, I've always really liked Eric Bischoff. I've been a big Eric Bischoff fan my whole life, and that's such a random thing to say, but I have, and so I'm going to say 83 Weeks. I do like Arn, because obviously I'm a big AA fan.
And who isn't?
I mean, there are probably ignorant people out there.
Yeah.
And, could you imagine not liking Arn Anderson?
No.
Being fully aware of Arn Anderson and just thinking he wasn't one of the greatest fucking wrestlers of all time.
So for you, you're going to go with 83 Weeks?
I'm going to go with 83 Weeks. Shout out to Arn. I like something to wrestle. For me, it's really what the topic is. It's not a must download for me. And I've maybe listened to What Happened When 2 or 3 times, and I've enjoyed it every time. But again, just it takes me a week to get through 83 Weeks with the amount of podcasts I'm listening to right now. So, like, I just don't listen to much podcasts right now.
See, generally, the Conrad Thompson podcast, they all, with the exception of Bruce, they all drop at 6 a.m. Or 5 a.m. So I throw them on the second I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
While I'm getting in the shower, while I'm getting ready for work. Depending on the length, sometimes I'm done with them by the time I get to work because I also listen to podcasts at 1.5 speed.
I do too. I just listen for like 20 minutes before I go to bed. Is all I really listen to anymore.
So generally day of, I'm done with the Conrad Thompson podcast. Occasionally they wait a few days if I'm listening to something else. Bischoff tends to be on delay because he comes out on Monday, which is also when 2 other podcasts that I listen to every week drop. So
BB Brave.
Sure, yeah, that one. And
fuck you.
And my probably number one favorite non-Conrad Thompson podcast, Between the Sheets.
Well, that's not a category, dipshit. So no one cares.
All right, next category, Alex.
The next category is the best snap on the podcast.
There's a runaway winner for this.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, you want to talk about my buddy Phil?
Fuck you. Yeah, that's probably the winner.
Oh, your buddy Phil. Oh, your buddy Phil. You sat here for 3 fucking years telling everybody how much fucking BFF sucked and I got fucking each other. Now you fucking love. Oh, he's your buddy Phil. I'm fucking saying, fuck you.
That's exactly what I said, but with much better diction. You could actually understand me when I spoke.
Yeah. You were that. That's not only is that the meltdown of the year, the rant of the year of this podcast. That's probably the great that would win my award because let's face it, folks. You're used to me ranting, okay? You're used to me screaming at the top of my lungs about something. When I can get Alex McCarthy to scream at the top of his lungs,
you're a fucking hypocrite.
Because I fucking trolled him for an entire episode.
I hate you so much. This is the last. I might stay through the Hot Take Rumble and then just be done. Because I love the Hot Take Rumble. Another Alex McCarthy creation. Another Mike Adamle original.
I thought Kat came up with Hot Take Rumble.
What?
I'm just again trying to,
No.
You didn't come up with everything on this podcast.
Name one good thing. Every good concept episode. Pipe Dream Championship Wrestling. Me. Pipe Dream Classic. Me. Hot Take Rumble. Me. CHESTIE Awards. Me. Standing there holding on to a ring post. You.
Pipe Dream came about from all 3 of us because we were trying to avoid falling asleep watching a Beyond Wrestling show.
No, it was a GCW show.
No, it was Beyond. It was Beyond Wrestling Caffeine.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. It was the Friday night of Orlando Mania weekend.
Yep.
And, yeah.
God, that was so long. It feels like so long ago.
Yeah.
Is it? They're having trouble.
They're having issues today, apparently.
All right.
I feel bad for them because normally IWTV is perfect. They're having some issues today, unfortunately.
Next up.
Must be a bad weekend for streaming service because did you hear New Japan World crashed last night?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, apparently they had so much, literally more site traffic than they'd ever had.
Make sure that door seals. Thank you. Margaret, you got any CHESTIE categories for us?
No.
You sure?
I would. Should we give a guest star of the year award to Margaret?
As what?
She's the perennial guest star of the year on Off the Chest.
She wanted to be a regular member, and then she
yeah.
changed her mind.
Podcasts are always a lot more fun when they're starting out, and then 20 episodes in, you're like, wow, I'm out of things to talk about, and I still got to keep talking.
We're still doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, 151 episodes.
I have watched the number of times you're like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know.
We still find something to talk about.
Margaret also wins catchphrase of the year on the podcast for what?
Well, unfortunately for both of you, neither of those are fucking categories on my list.
I'm just making
down. Angry.
Shut up.
He's grumpy today for some reason.
Not grumpy.
You'd think if he had alcohol this morning, it would have made him in a better mood.
I'm tired and I have to go to work, back to work tomorrow, and I have to spend all day of my last day of vacation recording goddamn podcasts.
Oh, do not even. You've been dying inside from having to stay home doing nothing. You hate it.
You hate sitting at home doing nothing. You called me
Not
you called me the day after Christmas going, what the fuck am I going to do for the next 9 days?
He's had to go somewhere every day because he cannot stand it.
Exactly.
You wanted to go somewhere last night, so don't even.
I wanted to go somewhere last night because you burned the pizza we were supposed to eat.
No, before that.
To buy the clothing I needed?
Whatever.
You're the one that's like, can we go to the mall or somewhere?
No.
That
You're
was
lying.
you.
You are lying. You are lying.
You are a workaholic.
Ugh, go away. Alright, go play a game or something.
Oh, see, now I will be on this podcast.
Our next category, Margaret, is top choice for an opponent in 2020 for The Undertaker.
Really?
Yes, that's the category.
That's the category. Top choice for an opponent for The Undertaker in 2020. Can I say none? Because can we just let that
Nope, you have to pick somebody.
Can we just let the poor man...
So we're just going to keep tormenting a legend because we can't
Let
accept that
go.
that part of our childhood is over?
Exactly.
I don't make the categories.
I'm actually... the fact that me and Margaret actually agree on this. Can't we just let this poor man go home in peace?
He's undead.
It's...
Do not fucking work anyone right now.
Oh,
I will throw something at you.
will absolutely have a match in 2020.
Oh, look, I'm nice enough to throw soft things. I'm about to start talking books in a second here.
I'm gonna pick a guy based on the fact that I think this should be his career path going forward, is where he takes on former WWE legends. How about The Undertaker versus Hiroshi Tanahashi?
What? Why Hiroshi Tanahashi?
Just because if there's anybody that can make it work, it's Hiroshi Tanahashi.
All right, well, there's one. Hiroshi Tanahashi. Margaret, do you have a pick?
Nope, I'm sticking with let the poor man rest.
All
He
right.
has children!
I've got kids! Anyways.
Margaret had the best thing. One of my favorite Margaret moments ever was when she came up with the idea that when John Cena kept calling out The Undertaker every week, they had been on vacation for a month, and they come home, and Michelle McCool's all drunk off, like, the drunkest housewife off wine. All of a sudden, she comes in, hey, Mark, they're talking about you on the TV.
That wasn't me, that was Sarah Shockey.
I thought that was
No,
you.
that
Wow.
was a Sarah Shockey moment.
Okay.
Listen to that episode.
Okay, that was you.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, my pick for The Undertaker's opponent in 2020 is Aleister Black. Because I think that they would have a good match together. I think they'd be able to do some striking, because it would just be a lot of striking, and Aleister can, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors and supernatural-ish, and then at the end, Aleister Black takes the power of the urn and becomes Undertaker Jr.
And at this point, Taker needs the guys that can bump around for him.
Okay,
Yes.
but Aleister Black isn't Undertaker Jr., and he shouldn't be put in that framework.
I know. It's just kind of. Anyways, do you think there should be like an Undertaker 2 or an Undertaker Jr. in the vein of like Tiger Mask or
No, absolutely not.
Junior, and here's the thing: wrestling in general needs to stop copying the golden age.
But
it's overdone. Move on. Make modern superstars. Don't keep just saying, well, we liked this thing from 30 years ago. Let's just keep doing that.
But like there was Mr. Wrestling 2 and 3, Tiger Mask. Could you just imagine gong hits and then Undertaker 2 comes out and it's Baron Corbin?
See,
oh, now you're trying to piss people off.
Tiger Mask, that would be terrible. And Tiger Mask is a little different because Tiger Mask 4 stayed in the gimmick. The current Tiger Mask has stayed in the gimmick much longer than anyone in history. And Tiger Mask was always meant to be kind of a short-term gimmick that would rotate amongst wrestlers. Like, you're never going to see another... There's not going to be a second version of Jushin Thunder Liger. Because of the man behind the mask becoming so iconic.
Well, in gimmicks in general today, gimmicks aren't made to be interchangeable.
Yeah.
There, with kayfabe dead, it's like everyone knows the person behind it too much. You can't just switch it out.
There was like 7 Ultimate Warriors.
Well, Kerry Von Erich.
I said today.
Kerry Von Erich was the Ultimate Warrior when after the original one died.
And I'm not saying people don't still do that. I'm saying it
Margaret,
comes across.
we're lying. None of those things are true.
That's a joke.
Whatever.
There were
was
also
an urban
9
myth for you.
Kanes. My cousin tried to tell me that there were 9 different guys played Kane.
There were 2 different guys that played Kane. There was because remember they did the fake Kane gimmick for a while where Unmasked Kane was feuding with Masked Kane.
Yes.
Who was it that was Masked Kane? Do you remember?
It was Luke Gallows.
Oh, it was Gallows. That's right.
Yeah.
Back
I'm
in
just
his.
saying, we need to stop copy pasting things from the 90s and 80s.
Okay. Our next category is most overused match of the year.
You mean like the match of the year that like everyone?
I don't know if they mean the match that was booked too many times, or like if it's a gimmick match that was used too much, or I'm not. I don't really know. But the most overused match of the year.
Most overused match of the year for me. I hate to say this, guys. I gotta go Roman Reigns versus versus Baron / King Corbin. How many times did they face in some variation of like a tag match or a singles match? It feels like they've been on every episode of SmackDown for the last 6 months. Literally, feels like they've been on every episode of SmackDown since they went to Fox.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fair one. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'll say Lashley and Rusev.
I'm just gonna say that because I want the whole storyline to die.
See, the thing is, I think they've only had like 1 match, and not counting house shows.
Okay, maybe like the most overused storyline then, because
Well, there are different categories about storylines later.
Okay.
Go ahead, Margaret. What were you gonna say?
I want that storyline to die a fiery death.
Okay.
You do not give us the first, like, queer storyline in decades and make it again another fucking joke. Not when we could have had Sonya and Mandy as a queer couple. I'm so annoyed.
You know,
that would have made me start watching WWE again. If they had given us Sonya and Mandy as a lesbian couple, I would have been there. And instead we got Lana's so slutty she'll even sleep with women, LOL.
And Margaret's chastised me before for romanticizing the Attitude Era.
This is the Attitude Era.
This literally to me reeks of the Attitude Era at its absolute worst. It's like that was terrible. Everything about this gimmick has been terrible. And I hate to say this, Rusev deserves better. Lashley honestly deserves better. Lana deserves to go away because she's terrible at everything.
Yeah, but here's the thing: she is an effective heel.
But
she's a Baron Corbin heel. She's one of those people that you genuinely dislike, which in this day and age is very rare. Few people even ironically like her. Well, I mean, except for, like, you know, the thirsty dudes on Twitter.
I mean, I like looking at her Instagram pictures, but that don't mean I want to see her in the ring. Alex, next category.
Alright. So this one I'm going to break it into 3 parts.
Okay.
Because so I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. So the category is most breakout star in AEW, NXT, and the Indies. So I'm going to ask for one of each. So 1 in AEW, 1 in NXT, 1 in Indies, and then maybe overall. Do you want to do that? 1 NXT,
Okay.
1
Indies?
Indies?
I haven't watched enough, so I'm gonna let you take care of it. I just wanted to rant for a little bit.
That's actually gonna help me because I was really torn on my AEW one, so I'm gonna give 1 the overall, and I'm gonna give 1 the AEW specific.
Okay.
AEW specific.
Yep.
Darby Allin.
Okay.
The guy has taken every match that he's been given and absolutely made the most of it. He's had amazing matches with Cody, amazing matches with Jericho, and he is a guy that I think in 2020 they need to. This is where they need like a mid-card title.
Yeah.
Because he would be perfect for it. Because that character, you know, the skateboarding, the look, everything about it. He is one of those guys that they can cater specifically to that young.
He's cool.
Well, he's a cool character with a cool look. He looks like, you know, guys you would see in that lifestyle.
Because he is.
He is one of them. It's not a gimmick. That's who
right.
he really is.
Yeah.
And
well, that's like, it goes back to the classic thing. Your character is just yourself turned up to 11.
And that's exactly what Darby is. And like I said, I got the pleasure of meeting Darby and getting to have a conversation with him. And one of the just coolest, legitimate, genuine guys that I got to meet over StarCast weekend. So for hit that, absolutely Darby Allin. What was the next one?
NXT.
For 2019?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Keith Lee.
Okay.
I think you look at where 2019 was because he signed in 2018, but they didn't really use him very much.
Right.
And then look from the start of the year to the end of the year, he is one of the guys that when they expanded to 2 hours, I think benefited greatly because they got time.
Yeah.
And now he's in a main event, pretty much in like a near main event level spot.
Right.
And obviously a guy who has benefited from not just the expansion of 2 hours, but the expansion of the NXT as a third brand, not as a developmental. Guys aren't going to be, now you got to go to Raw or SmackDown. And as we've seen now, there are people that didn't wrestle in NXT or maybe wrestled in NXT once that are showing up on main roster. Or the quote-unquote main roster.
What do you mean?
Looks like Chelsea Green is on Raw.
Oh.
It looks, because she was on main event this week, so it looks like Chelsea Green basically bypassed NXT and went straight to Monday Night Raw.
Huh. I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see more of that. You're going to see PC kids where they say, okay, you don't really fit the NXT, but you would fit into the Raw or the SmackDown profile. So
good, cool.
So for NXT, it's gonna be Keith Lee, and then what was the other one?
The Indies.
The Indies. Ooh,
it's hard.
And I'm gonna make an exclusion on this one.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pick somebody we know.
Okay.
Because the easy answer would be the one called Manders.
Sure.
So I'm trying to think of.
So we're gonna disqualify Manders. I appreciate let's disqualify Manders from this category.
Because the object, and that way Manders. That way, let's just also so somebody doesn't get mad at us for not picking him.
Yeah.
You're DQ'd because you're one of our best friends and we love you. I'm gonna go Christian Casanova.
Ooh, okay.
I really like him. I like what I see. I think this is a kid that is gonna be a star going forward. And what kid who at any point could go from being an indie guy to being either AEW, WWE grabs that kid up and signs him to a contract.
Yeah, I bet he signs a contract I'm gonna say he signs a contract in 2021 because I feel like he's just starting to get hot on the indies now. You know what I mean?
And then my overall, like I said, because of AEW being a neck-and-neck race, overall, breakout star 2019, because of AEW. We knew who he was 2 years ago, but everybody knows his name now. It is the greatest heel in the business, Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Oh.
This guy's gone from, last year at this time, he was, the indie kid with some buzz, to now.
When did he get signed to MLW?
He was an MLW guy, I guess, at this point last year, but, you saw it on January 1st, on the January 1st episode of of Dynamite. They sent him out there to cut a promo, and he carried a 10-minute promo in one take, carried a complete segment by himself. About a month ago, he went out there and did a segment with Chris Jericho, one of the greatest mic workers in the history of the business, and completely went toe to toe with him on the microphone.
Yeah.
He's maybe had 2 or 3 matches on Dynamite, but he's still essentially the top heel that's not named Chris Jericho. Because he's just that goddamn
I'm going to
good.
ask you a question. Do you think he lacks as a worker?
Oh, I don't think he lacks as a worker at all.
Okay. I'm legitimately curious because I'm trying to think, what are your top 5? I'm just trying to think of,
I think
your top MJF matches.
The thing is, what I'm going to say, MJF works to his character and stays in his lane.
Yeah. So
you've never seen MJF have to go out and have a good work rate match. He's had some good work rate matches in AEW and other places, and you've seen it, but he works to his character.
Sure.
And that, working to your character, is an art form that very few people, especially at his age and experience... It's a lost art in indie wrestling. Yeah, it's a lost art in the indies, especially.
Yeah.
And he's mastered it.
All right.
So what are your picks, Alex?
All right, AEW, I am going to say Jungle Boy, because I think he has had a great year, had a great match with Chris Jericho, kind of got instantly made. I feel like he broke out this year.
A viable pick.
Thank you. For NXT, I'm going to say I haven't paid a ton of attention to NXT, so I was thinking Matt Riddle, but after I thought about it, I will say Keith Lee. Because I think he went from being a utility player to being a star this year. And, so I'm going to say Keith Lee as well. And for the indies, I'm going to actually say Danhausen. Because I think he's a great example of a guy who, like MJF, knows how to stay in his lane as his character, works as his character, has some of the best promos, so dedicated to the character work, very talented individual. And, for my overall, I'm going to say Chris Statlander. Because I feel like she went from being, you look at her first match against John Silver at Please Come Back in January for Beyond to now. And she has absolutely 100% become a big star in... and she's signed to AEW, and I think she's going to be the center point of that women's division.
And Statlander was, we just had IWTV had their awards, where Statlander was the overwhelming choice for Breakout Star of the Year, and then to the shock of me and many people, also ended up winning the Wrestler of the Year award.
Oh, shit!
Oh, IFHY, Attacks Violence is Forever. But no, Statlander, she won the Superstar of the Year award, which I thought for a lock would go to on IWTV would go to Nick Gage.
Yeah.
So what I consider kind of an upset, but Chris Statlander.
Those are fan voted. IWTV subscribers voted on those.
Yeah, Statlander is absolutely just had an amazing 2019. Next category, sir.
All right, most shocking moment in pro wrestling in 2019.
Do you got one off the top of your head? Because I got to think about that one for a second.
I mean, I'll probably think of a better one after we talk about it.
I've got mine.
I'm gonna say AEW just happening.
AEW happening?
I'm gonna say, I think a lot of people are like, will it or won't it? There were rumors and things like that, but I think AEW happening is the shocking moment of 2019.
So mine kind of goes along with that. It goes into a more specific thing, and it's actually not a one event, because essentially it encompasses two. To me, it's going to encompass two. I'm going to say a name: Jon Moxley.
Okay. Moxley
leaving WWE and then showing up in AEW, but also showing up as the Death Rider in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
And then, who would have ever thought that Jon Moxley was going to be, this guy that wrestles for two companies on two different, two different sides of the world, and has completely shown that he was whether it was his own personal unhappiness, whether it was being held down, whatever, Jon Moxley went out there and reinvented himself and shocked the world by basically, a movement that had started a few years ago essentially with Cody, but now took a whole new level when Moxley said, who was a main event push guy, basically said, I'm not happy here, I'm leaving, I'm going to go do my own thing, and then completely blows the doors off of two different companies.
Yeah. All right. Next up, best and worst Twitter feud in 2019.
Worst Twitter feud is going to be Jim Cornette versus everyone.
Yeah.
Because fuck Jim Cornette at this. God, I loved Jimmy for so long, and I defended him for so long.
He's terrible.
Fuck Jimmy.
It's Alan Angels. Ha! Speaking of the devil.
Huh?
Look at his shirt.
Oh, does he have the F Cornet shirt on or something? Oh, he's got the Cornet t-shirt. What a way to get heat with a sub crowd. Walks out wearing the Jim Cornette t-shirt.
Yeah. This is Alan Angels, right?
Yeah. No, because Corny was so great for so long, and he's, his creativity in every facet, managing, putting stuff together, being a booker for so long. And like I've said, we've talked about this podcast because Kayfabe Commentaries is on the High Spots Wrestling Network now. Go back and watch. There's a guest booker shoot interview DVD where he rebooks The Invasion and does it 1,000 times better than what we got. And he's so creative, and he explains everything in great detail. But somewhere in the last decade, he completely lost his grip, and now has turned himself into the proverbial old man yelling at the cloud, and the back in my day, and it's just, he picks fights with everyone. He has literally, the joke was calling them the Cult of Cornette. They've literally become a cult.
Yeah.
They snitch tag stuff that they don't like to him so that he can rant about it.
Yep.
He's attacked people that I love, and even after that point, I still try to defend him. And then he goes out and just multiple times just gets himself into hot water to the point where he has to leave the one TV show that he was great on.
Yeah.
He was great on NWA Power as a commentator, but then he has to go out and do stupid shit and gets himself fired.
Yep.
So yeah, worst Twitter feud of the year is going to be Jim Cornette versus, well, everyone. Hey, it's Cole Radrick.
Yep. Yeah, I'd agree with that for the worst. I'm trying to think of what would be considered the best Twitter feud.
Can I say Tony Khan versus Randy Orton?
Sure. Yeah.
Because that was entertaining as shit.
Yeah. I'll go with that. The other thing I was gonna say is not a Twitter feud, but a Twitter interaction. Can we go Dave Bautista and Dana Brooke? That's the
award for best thirsty Twitter interaction. No, for me, best Twitter feud. It didn't last long, but Randy Orton versus Tony Khan. Tony showed he was not going to back down from anybody. Hey, Alex, who wants to walk with Margaret?
Who wants to walk with Margaret?
Where did he go? Is he still injured?
No, he's on SmackDown every week.
Oh, is he?
I've heard, yeah.
Shows how much
apparently he's a heel again, and he's super. It sounds like he's been super offensive.
No.
Implying that all of the fans had STDs.
Nice.
And
so he's the singing MJF.
I guess, yeah. The notion, the issue I have with the notion that all of the fans have STDs is that implies that they've had sex.
That implies that most wrestling fans have had sex.
What the fuck, Regal? Why are you trying to destroy my equipment? Buy me a new microphone.
Your microphone is fine. As the mic goes off sorry, I didn't know you were wearing headphones. I accidentally, my foot caught the cord that caught the microphone.
Tried to break my microphone.
No, I was trying to readjust myself a little bit. All right. So, what's the next category, sir? Now that you've screamed at me for...
Most likely to succeed in 2020. Barbara Walters. She was great on 2020. For years.
I was going to go with Hugh Downs.
Fuck Hugh Downs.
Wow. You're hatred for Hugh Downs.
Fuck Hugh Downs. Fuck you.
Wow.
Fuck you.
Why we got to hate on the host of 2020?
Barbara Walters is the host of 2020, you son of a bitch. Hugh Downs just gets her water and cashews and stuff.
Oh, I think they meant the year 2020, Alex.
Probably.
Gotta be specific. That would come from John G.
No, John G didn't send us any goddamn awards.
Of course not.
Because he would probably disagree with all of our awards anyways.
Speaking of old men who yell at a cloud.
He's not that bad. I understand his argument. He likes the old school way of doing things. But to his credit, he watches everything that he
I didn't realize
tears apart.
I didn't realize until recently how much wrestling John G actually watches.
He watches a fuck ton of wrestling.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He watches a lot of wrestling. Anyways, most likely to succeed in 2020. You go first.
Can I vote Manders on this category?
I don't care what you do.
I'm gonna vote Manders. I'm gonna take the easy road on that one. Manders wins this award. Mainly because the guy just won the Future Face Award, which is voted on by wrestlers in the business for IWTV. Trying to think of somebody else that I could throw out there. I'll take one of your picks from earlier. I'll take Danhausen as well.
Okay, I'm gonna go just because I feel like I owe it to the guy because I've shit on him so much and he's really come around and I've changed my opinion on him so much. I'm gonna go Jonathan Wolf.
I got a guy who I think is going to have a pretty good year in 2020. So Jonathan Wolf also.
What about Cole Radrick in the ring here?
I mean, I'll give Cole credit. Looks like he's lost weight. So.
Oh, Cole's in much better shape than he was at the beginning of the year.
I don't.
Not that there's anything wrong with losing weight, but
I don't see him enough. He does it's so weird because I really like Cole Radrick, but I don't see him enough. I think he works a lot of like that Jeffersonville, Indiana area, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
You know what match I want to see in 2020?
What?
Cole Radrick and Tony Deppen.
Oh God, because they're both so spastic.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've heard Tony Deppen may have had a wardrobe malfunction at ICW last night.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently, he may have pulled a Bob Holly.
Jesus Christ.
Uh,
All right. Well, we got 5 categories left, and we're almost at an hour, so we're doing better.
Here I was worried we weren't going to have enough.
Yeah, I know you were, because you forget how much you talk.
Yeah.
All right. Who deserves a title the most in 2020?
Well, I literally already said Darby Allin, so I won't say Darby Allin.
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And I'm going to say I think the person who deserves the title the most in 2020 is going to be the person who I think this Saturday in Walcott, Iowa, wins the SCW Pro Prestige Rumble. That person being none other than an SCW original, my broadcast partner, Timothy Regal, #Regal Rumble or Riot. Whether it's Xander Killen or Travis Titan, he doesn't care, because Regal's going to win the SCW Pro Prestige Rumble. And then he's going to go cash in that title shot at the Rust Belt, and he's going to become the next SCW Pro Heavyweight Champion. #Regal Rumble or Riot. #make heavyweight champions heavyweights again. #Timothy Regal.
Are you done?
Yeah, that's not my real pick either.
God, I was going to hope so. Because I'm not in the Rumble. I will
Surprise entry. You're going to hear that music play.
I was definitely not on that list.
What would you do if our podcast theme played during the Prestige Rumble?
I say, go get the ring, Alex, because you're the one going in, not me.
I'd go in. I'd throw some motherfuckers over the top rope.
Hey, then you can fulfill your Battle Royal quota for 2020.
That's right. I didn't fulfill. I got to do 2 in 2020 to make up for 2019.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do a Battle Royal in 2019.
Okay.
I don't think I was on a show with a Battle Royal in 2019. Oh, I probably was.
So who was your pick, by the way?
Oh, fuck. Shit. Layla Hirsch. I don't know.
Layla Hirsch is a good pick. So
I like Layla Hirsch. I would like to see her get some more eyes on her. Very talented. Overdoing his tour with Stardom right now.
On her first Japanese tour right
now. To all you fucking smarks, there aren't enough women on the Beyond show. Where's Layla Hirsch? Wasn't she on the card? Because she's in fucking Stardom, dipshit.
She was in Stardom. Solo was taking time off to heal up some injuries.
They did end up adding a match to the pre-show.
Yeah.
Was that on when you watched it?
No, it wasn't.
It was Davey N versus Addie Starr.
Yeah. Where was my girl Skylar at all this year? Where's my girl Skylar been?
She's been, I guess, having some conflicts with her shoot job.
Okay. But yeah, no. The people that deserve a title in 2020. 2020. trying to think who I think deserves a title in 2020. That's a tough one. I'm trying to think of who really hasn't held a title, and I'm more gonna go look at other at some of the bigger promotions. I'm gonna say Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh my god, absolutely.
Who still to this day in New Japan hasn't ever gotten higher than the Never title, but literally has had amazing matches with everybody. Actually, I'm gonna make that a tie co-award and go back to New Japan again. Shingo Takagi. Shingo still has not had a singles title in New Japan, so absolutely Tomohiro Ishii and Shingo Takagi. I'm gonna go to New Japan for that award for this year.
All right, good deal. Breaking news: Blair Onyx has thrown away her wallet and says, "Throwing away my wallet was such a positive life move."
Blair Onyx, the feud that should be a feud of the year.
Blair Onyx and her wallet.
My close personal friend Blair Onyx and her wallet.
All right. Next up.
Speaking of people that won titles in 2020, what about Miss Valentina Loca?
Did she win that title last night, or was she already the champion?
No, she won it last night.
Oh. Branagh was already the champion?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe, well, either way she won a title match in 2020. I don't know if she was the champion going in or not, but Valentina Loca won a title match in 2020.
Hey, good for her.
Did Big Match Ja beat Hornswoggle?
No.
Hornswoggle beat Ja?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Ja, you literally got beat by a dude that's literally knee high to you. Come on.
Wow.
Actually, Ja's not that tall. It's probably like waist high.
Wow. You're such an asshole.
I love Ja, and
I hope Ja's in the ring when you enter the Prestige Rumble on Saturday.
And I love Swoggle. I mean,
I hope Ja's in the ring when you're in the Prestige Rumble on Saturday, so he can kick you in the mouth a couple times.
I love Swoggle. He keeps getting booked. I think they get him for half off.
Oh, good. Wow, he stole that group joke from Bruce Pritchard, everybody. In case you thought Regal said something clever or intelligent. He didn't.
Yes, I totally stole that joke.
God. Such a ripoff. Anyways, the next category is dumbest booking decision of the decade. This is not just of the year. This is of the decade.
Oh, Jesus. That covers a lot of ground. There's been a lot of dumb booking decisions.
I'm going to go. I got one.
What?
2014 Royal Rumble, not putting Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble because it got Rey Mysterio the most nuclear heat in his entire life. Rey Mysterio, who's been a babyface for his entire career, gets booed out of the fucking building at WrestleMania in 2014, all because he wasn't Daniel Bryan. They ended up remedying it and creating one of the greatest moments of the decade.
His WWE return.
Well, when Bryan won the Rumble.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying, like, oh my God. Poor Rey, putting Rey in that number 37. And if they were gonna do it, I don't necessarily think Bryan had to be in the Rumble, but
have a heel.
Heel in that spot. Give a heel that spot. Should you imagine if fucking Dolph Ziggler or somebody came out and yes, eat it in, motherfuckers.
Mysterio, man.
The funny thing is I feel like they had no idea that was going to be the reaction.
And believe me, I'm going to assume that everybody that's listening to this podcast has probably seen it, but if you haven't, go back and watch it.
Watch Rey get the biggest negative reaction.
The thing is, to truly... Oh, Mr. Berkshire's in the ring. I'm like, what the fuck? To truly underappreciate this, you have to watch that entire Rumble. Because the crowd is chanting for Bryan almost the entire Rumble.
Yeah.
And everybody gets to 30, it's like, okay, it's going to be Bryan, it's going to be Bryan, it's going to be Bryan. Booyaka, booyaka, 619.
Boo.
And literally, the poor Rey Mysterio with the biggest one of the biggest
one of the biggest baby faces of all time
gets booed out of the building because he's not Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
Through no fault of his own. And this is, so, Alex, I think you hit the nail on the head. Because, like you said, they were completely oblivious. They, also, that's the Rumble Batista won, right?
Yes.
So that whole Rumble, because they thought, for some reason, that, Batista's going to come back and be this huge babyface, and we can send him to WrestleMania to face Randy Orton. And the crowd, as soon as he wins, they immediately turned on that, and this thus created Boo-Tista.
Which later turned into Blue-Tista.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was...
Blue
but you know what? I have to give it to him. That was like one of the greatest like, they saved that thing.
Oh, because
they fucking saved it pretty well.
They had to. They didn't want to.
No,
they didn't
but
want
they
to
did.
They didn't want to until like 4 weeks before WrestleMania. But they finally did because they had to.
Yeah.
They woke the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just to be contrarian, even though it's, fairly new, it's only a few months old. Worst booking decision of the decade. The 2019 Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fucking Christ.
That's a good one.
Again, to their credit, they did use it to pivot slightly, and they finally leaned into the fact that because of that, and an honorable mention for an earlier award that I should have also went to it. Worst Twitter feud of the year?
Seth Rollins
versus everyone.
Oh, I was gonna say Will Ospreay.
Well, but Seth Rollins versus the professional wrestling fan base. They finally used it to lead into the fact that pretty much Seth Rollins became the most hated man amongst the internet wrestling community.
Yeah.
So they did at least do that right. That's about the only thing is that they've gotten right out of those two things. But that the booking of that Hell in a Cell match also deserves a worst booking decision of the decade award.
Nice.
What's next, Alex?
All right, next up, match of the decade.
Of the decade.
Of the decade.
Wow.
God, I love AC Mack.
Oh, he's great. Making him hold the fucking titles up.
He always does that.
Yeah. For me,
yes.
Match of the decade, and I think if anybody that knows me knows where I'm going to go here.
Aww.
As Alex makes a very racist joke. But no, for me, it's the Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada match from Dominion.
Oh, Dominion.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 2 out of 3 falls, 97 minute. Kenny Omega finally wins the IWGP Heavyweight Title match from Okada. You could go with any match in that series, honestly. I think.
Sure.
I'll throw literally. If I were to do a list of matches of the decade, about the top 8 of them probably are going to be involving Kazuchika Okada. You could say though any of the matches with Kenny Omega, I think. Either of the Wrestle Kingdom 9, Wrestle Kingdom 10 main events with Tanahashi, you could throw out there. I'll give you another one: Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kota Ibushi. The match that basically flipped me from being I know what New Japan is, and yeah, I know what Bullet Club is. Shinsuke Nakamura and Kota Ibushi for me, because that is the match that basically hard sold me that I need to deep dive and become a hardcore New Japan fan. But overall, best match of the decade: Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. 2 out of 3 falls. New Japan Dominion. Alex, what's yours?
John Cena versus CM Punk. Money in the Bank 2011. Chicago. And I'm going to tell you why. Something Eric Bischoff talks about on his podcast a lot. Stakes. There were stakes. The stakes were, if Punk's contract was up at midnight, and if he won, he was leaving, and he wasn't taking the title with him. Could you imagine if there had been AEW 7 years earlier? If Punk had had an alternative like AEW to go to in that time, do you think he would have? I think he would have.
Oh, that's a very interesting.
If Punk had a place to jump to I think he would have. Is Mr. Brickster still hurt, or are they about to have a match?
I'm trying to figure that out, honestly.
So
no.
I'm gonna say that match just because the stakes were great. The match was great. And it's just it was one of those times as a fan where you really didn't know what was gonna happen, and it wasn't just about okay, somebody wins or somebody loses. There were stakes. There were big stakes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The stakes were huge.
I like big steaks.
Shut up.
20 ounces at Texas
Yeah,
Roadhouse.
when are you taking us out to Texas Roadhouse?
I figure when I get a new job, that'll be my reward to myself.
Okay.
All right, no, it's AC Mac versus Cabana Man Dan.
And that's the fucking belt.
What belt? Oh, that's not that new South.
That's the New South, yes.
That is the biggest fucking title I've ever seen
It
in my
literally
life.
is a third of Cabana Man Dan. Now, I know a lot of people listening to this don't actually watch wrestling, especially don't watch independent wrestling. Google search Cabana Man Dan, New South. Cabana Man Dan, he goes to pretend to play that like a guitar. That's bigger than a fucking guitar. I love it.
When is Manders going to win the New South heavyweight title?
I think Manders wrestled in New South last night.
He actually debuted in New South last night.
Yeah. Yes. Cabana Man Dan holds the biggest fucking belt. Sami Callihan likes to call the AEW title the big gold fucking belt. Cabana Man Dan holds the biggest fucking belt. Cabana Man Dan just openly adjusting his junk on camera. What the hell?
Good friend of our friend Kat, Cabana Man Dan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. She loves Cabana Man Dan.
So my match of the decade is Punk and Cena. Money in the Bank 2011. I've already talked about this to an extent on Boost, Brawls, and Brave, another shitty wrestling podcast, which will probably be up before this, and I don't know what it's about because we haven't recorded yet.
The other thing for your match of the decade, I will say, one of the things that makes a great wrestling match, a rabid crowd.
Yeah.
And that crowd at the Allstate Arena for that Hell in a Cell match because we're in Punk's hometown, just absolutely rabid for that.
And one thing I'll say about Chicagoans, and it's the Midwest in general, I think, and Margaret agrees, and Margaret says Iowans are like this too, and I think it's probably true because if you ever notice, WWE runs here a fuck ton more now that they have Seth Rollins on their roster than they did beforehand. Is people in the Midwest are fiercely loyal to their own.
Yeah.
And, fucking, you go to Chicago, and everybody that lives in Chicago, that is from Chicago, they fucking love Chicago. Chicago is the best. Charge the battery pack. It's the best city in the world. They love it. It's the best. And, they're having really
poor guys.
Oh, I feel so bad for them right now.
I can't wait for Dylan Hales to just go on a rant.
Anyways, I feel sorry for him. Anyways, so fuck. What was I saying?
About Chicago.
They're just so loyal. Anybody you meet from Chicago, they love Chicago. They love being from Chicago. They get pissed when people from Aurora say they're from Chicago. Do you ever know, I went to Loras College where there's a high number of people from Chicago in the suburbs, and the kids that were from Chicago proper would get pissed. Motherfucker, you're from Tinsley Park, you're not from Chicago, or you're from...
And here's the thing, we were in the Quad Cities ever since I was a little kid, man. Chicago, every time I've ever gone there, it was always a special thing for me, and because, I've always kind of looked at Chicago as my city. Obviously, I grew up a Cubs fan my whole life.
Yeah, I grew up a Cubs fan, a Bears fan, Bulls fan.
Like I said, I'm one of the people, and there's a.
Why are you a fucking Packer fan?
My dad was. Long story.
Oh, whatever.
Not long story. My dad was an old school Ray Nitschke, Bart Starr, Paul Hornung Packer fan, and then my really becoming a football fan coincided with Brett Favre and the resurgence of the Green Bay Packers. So, based on my dad and the fact that Brett Favre was the man, I became a Green Bay Packer fan. I do love the '85 Bears. I will say that.
Hell yeah.
They're one of the greatest teams in the history of the NFL.
Featuring the greatest football player of all time,
Jim McMahon.
Steve Mongo McMichael.
Oh, of course. No, I am one of the contingent, and there are actually quite a few, especially in this area, that if you talk to them, I am part of the contingent that the day Jordan retired from the Chicago Bulls,
This day they stopped watching basketball.
I turned the NBA off and never turned it back on.
Yeah.
No, I was a Jordan era Bulls fan. I am a huge Blackhawks fan. I love Chicago. I love just the couple times in my life I've just been able to go up there for a few days and hang out and just walk around, just like walking around downtown.
Walking around downtown.
That's not the song.
Oh.
But no, so Chicago people are well. But that Chicago crowd with CM Punk for that ladder match, amazing. How many awards we got left, Alex?
2.
What's our second to last category?
Wrestler of the Decade.
Wrestler of the Decade.
Wrestler of the Decade.
I feel like my match of the year speech kind of spoiled this for me.
Yeah.
No question about it. It's Kazuchika Okada.
Plenty of questions about it.
A guy who, at the start of the decade, comes back from excursion after a essentially terrible excursion in TNA, where he is portrayed as basically the for whatever reason the Kato. The Green Hornet's character Kato, it was what he was portrayed as in Impact. But then he comes back to New Japan in 2011. So literally at the start of the decade. After Wrestle Kingdom, at the start of Wrestle Kingdom, he comes out, he challenges Tanahashi, and then beats Tanahashi. He's 23, maybe at the time. He's 32 now. How old would he have been in 2011, Alex? Help me out.
He's 32.
Huh?
He's 32.
He's 32 now. So how old would he have been in 2011?
I don't know.
I figured you were good enough.
Fucking 32 minus 9.
So 21. Or no, 23. So he's 23 when he comes back from excursion. And he leads New Japan out of the darkness into a renaissance period for the company, and now to where they're the biggest professional wrestling company in the world. I mean, literally, the decade of the 20s opens with him almost selling out the Tokyo 2 nights in a row, going in front of 70,000 fans over the course of 2 nights. So, yeah. And having, like I said, if I were to do a match of the decade list and really sit down and do it, he's probably in the majority of the top 10. So, for me, Kazuchika Okada, 100%, without a doubt, wrestler of the decade.
Hey, it's Stepmom Sarah. Stepstool Sarah.
Yeah, she wrote it matters.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
All right. Now, next up, my pick
Who for you?
for Wrestler of the Decade. I'm going to go with someone who wrestled for World Wrestling Entertainment for a majority of the decade. Someone who, worked for a truly global company in the whole decade. And not somebody who just, wrestled on a little island off the ocean of China.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
You're an asshole.
I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you shit.
Okada headlined in America too, fucker.
Yeah, like twice. I'm gonna pick somebody that's headlined all over the world. The best in the world, Shane McMahon.
You fucking troll.
No, I'm just kidding. My actual real pick for Wrestler of the Decade from Kansas City, Missouri, Baron Corbin.
Oh, so this is your heel turn?
Margaret, can you throw something at
He
your
is
husband,
trolling
please?
you. How do you not realize this?
Oh, I realize this. I just want you to throw something at him. Something hard.
All right, no, for real.
Maybe like a cast iron skillet if you got one.
For real, my pick for the best wrestler of the decade is a man who revolutionized the sport of professional wrestling with 3 simple letters. Do you know what those 3 letters are?
RVD.
No, God. His 2010 sucked.
Well.
Well.
Not the later part, because
Well,
that man is living his best life.
Yeah, shut up. Y-E-S. Daniel Bryan took a word and got super fucking over. I don't think the guy's had a bad match in 10 years. He's just the best. I think he's the best. And, you know, is the wrestler of the decade someone who consistently has big, huge, you know, over-the-top matches, or someone who consistently has great matches, somebody who never, ever, ever has bad matches? That's Daniel Bryan. In my opinion, the best wrestler in the 2010s is Daniel Bryan for me. And, yeah. I think that's a valid pick.
Honestly, Daniel Bryan would probably be number 2 on my list, so I have no qualms with that. Because
really, Daniel Bryan would be ahead of Kenny Omega?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kenny, you have to realize if you look at the entire decade, Kenny really didn't get going until about the last half of it. So
Bryan had 2 years off where he didn't wrestle too, and he came back better than ever.
The thing is, in those 2 years, he was still on the he was still on TV, and he was still just as popular,
just as relevant.
So yeah, and you look at, the guy wasn't even wrestling, and yet he made The Miz.
Yeah.
So I think that's a testament to Daniel Bryan.
He took The Miz from and I would say, like, their whole relationship, like, if you talk about the relationship of the last 10 years, those two's chemistry is so freaking incredible. And the fact that anytime those two work together, it's freaking gold.
Yeah, because The Miz was his pro on NXT.
Yeah.
So it's...
which at the time seemed like a fucking rib.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah. And you realize, no, that's actually one of the things they got right, was taking Daniel Bryan and with The Miz, 2 polar opposites, and putting them together. So no, absolutely, Daniel Bryan. Honestly, Kenny Omega, he'd be in my top 5. Daniel Bryan would probably be my number 2. Number 3.
Yeah.
Because I think this guy deserves almost as much credit as Okada. I think number 3 I'd have to go Tanahashi.
Okay.
Number 4, I would probably put...
Where does AJ fall?
AJ might fall into that 4, and I think Kenny Omega falls in at 5. 6, due to his infrequence, I think this guy's still one of the greatest performers in the world, but the long layoffs, I would probably say Chris Jericho is in there. I think Kevin Owens, you look for Ring of Honor.
God, yeah.
Ring of Honor all the way through, I think Kevin Owens. It'd be interesting once you get down into that bottom half to see where guys would lie, but I think, now Kenny's in the top 5, but I think, there's a couple of guys who definitely would be above him.
All right. It's time for our last category of the podcast. Oh, and this one is of the year, not of the decade, so
okay.
That's a little easier.
Okay.
And I think we might have the same answer. The worst storyline of the year.
Hey, Margaret!
What?
I think we're about to clean sweep this one. You want to get on this? What was the worst storyline of the year?
Of last year?
Of 2019.
Rusev?
Yes.
No.
Yes. The worst storyline of the year. If anybody has... No. Trust me, there was some shit. Probably later tonight, the post-wrestling worst of 2020 or 2019 episode is going to be up.
Oh, yeah.
Which I always look...
I would love those.
That's one of my favorite podcasts of the year. because it's just John and Wayne just hammering on everything.
And angry Way is fucking gold.
Yeah, and when Wayne gets angry, it's great. But no, here's the thing, folks. Okay, and I'm going to lead up a little bit to say this. If you, in any way, shape, or form, think that this Lashley, Lana, Rusev, Liv Morgan bullshit is good professional wrestling, turn off my podcast, for the love of God, please. Because, no, it was fucking dog shit. It was terrible. And I am 100% agree with Margaret in the fact that the payoff to this, and I actually was kind of thinking, okay, Rusev will pop out of a cake and beat the shit out of both of them. And just like every other fucking wrestling wedding ever.
Yeah.
It's like they literally said, how can we make this worse?
Yep.
Let's do a shitty Attitude Era, not even a good Attitude Era, a bad Attitude Era storyline of Lana's also bisexual and was cheating with Liv Morgan, cheap, tawdry titillation bullshit. You've ruined Rusev. You put poor Bobby Lashley.
You know, actually, I think Rusev's the most redeemable.
You can redeem Rusev, but Lashley, they've given him fucking dog shit.
Yeah, he should go back to TNA.
The entire, or someplace else. Go back to, I mean, he'll probably go back and fight in MMA eventually, but
yeah,
they've given
How
him.
many people on that roster do you think are like, God, when does my contract up?
They've given him dog shit. They've given Lashley fucking the terrible. That angle with Sami, he was in the worst angle of 2018.
Oh, that's God, I forgot about
Sami
that.
Zayn.
I forgot about that.
He was in the worst angle of 2018 with Sami Zayn. Then they gave him the stupid gimmick where he's pointing at his ass. What the fuck was that?
I don't remember.
And then all of a sudden, oh, dear, you're gonna go here because everybody loves it when, cheating sex and cuck angles and fucking fuck. Fuck!
Oh, this is going to be up for the best snap of 2020.
My God! Bobby Lashley is a gigantic human being that can do fucking amazing athletic shit, and you've completely fucked him since you re-signed him! What the fuck? Why? Oh, fuck!
There was a brief bright spot when he was with Lio Rush.
No, but that was when he was doing the stupid pointing at his ass gimmick, which made no fucking sense.
Oh.
He actually had some good shit in there, but yeah, no, they were doing the gimmick where he pointed his ass, which was dumb. Oh.
Does he have a nice ass?
I mean, it's very muscular. Every part of Bobby Lashley is muscular. Dude's huge.
He's got muscles in places where most people don't have muscles.
Exactly. No. So, Alex, just officially make this a queen sweep.
I can't even.
You can't even find an answer to just troll this.
Yeah,
no, because there is no answer. It's the worst angle of the year is fucking.
The Dark Order's got to be up there.
See, I still think the Dark Order can be redeemed. So
well, probably can, but in terms of if you're looking at it in 2019 in a vacuum. Is the Dark Order the worst thing that happened in AEW?
The Dark Order beating down all your top guys to end an episode of Dynamite was one of the stupidest fucking things you could ever do. And if you notice, they completely course corrected that on the January 1st episode of Dynamite.
What'd they do?
The Dark Order. The only thing with Dark Order was Evil Uno in a backstage promo, and nothing else, and no mention, literally no mention of
the higher power.
There's a lot of theories about it. One of the speculations is Matt Hardy's contract is up and he has not re-signed a new one yet. And keep in mind that Matt Hardy is basically best friends with the Bucks. So that
he is?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, Matt Hardy's best friends with the Bucks. So that is a very good possibility. A lot of internet speculation that the Exalted One, as they're calling him, could be Matt Hardy. I also think that could be the payoff to the Christopher Daniels botch angle. Is because keep in mind that at one point Christopher Daniels was possibly going to be a higher power.
Yeah.
Which would kind of be a fun play off that.
I'm gonna throw something crazy out there.
What?
What if it was Dustin?
See, I thought Dustin.
And that redeems the whole thing. The guy's not punching him because he's his leader.
I thought Dustin. I thought about that one. I also thought, what if it's Kenny Omega?
Yeah, you said that before.
Yeah, what if it's Kenny? What if Kenny Omega's secretly in the Dark Order? The whole time. No, so there's a couple different things. And my theory with that is he's the one that's forcing Hangman Page to drink.
What?
Because the gimmick now, there's a gimmick now where Hangman Page basically has distanced himself from the Elite and he's constantly drunk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't get the thing of why he's constantly drinking alcohol, but it's actually been kind of the way they played it, and it's not like when they did it with Scott Hall where they played off his real life problems and it was bad and terrible. It's actually played essentially for humor, so it's
because that's the guy that they say is the future star of the business, and they're gonna put him in a comedy angle where he's a drunk.
The thing is, I think they realized that Hangman wasn't quite ready, so they're gonna slowly build him back up.
Oh, I could have told you Hangman wasn't. I mean,
yeah.
He's fine, but...
Oh, I think Hangman's great, but I think he wasn't... Especially when you have Jericho, you had to make the right call when you gave Jericho the belt, but no. Worst angle, yeah, no. Fucking... Dark Order's not nearly as bad as Rusev, Lana, and Lashley.
Alright, well, what do you think? Did we get him right?
I think
Did
we
get him wrong? I'm not asking you, I'm asking the fucking listeners, dipshit. You ever heard the end of a podcast?
Who cares what they think? It's all about what I think.
I know. Oh, fuck. Alright, whatever. I'm done. I'm leaving.
Oh, stop it.
Woo! When you're living.
Hey, Rick.
Regal.
I heard you want to give an award.
I do. I'm going to give the award to my favorite future son-in-law, the WWE United States Champion, Andy. I call him Andy. He's Ashley's man. I call him Andy. He's a U.S. champ. He's gonna be my son-in-law in 2020 or whenever they set their date, and he might be the greatest son-in-law of all time. Woo!
I heard him and Charlotte won the award for best post-sex selfie picture.
What? Are you looking at my daughter?
That's what I heard.
You're supposed to cover her picture up with your thumb when you open up Instagram. I told you that.
That's what
you son of a bitch.
Ah, damn it. Rick, stop it. Wait, do it. Ow.
Rick left.
Man, glad, too, because there is one more award I just got handed.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to me cry.
Conrad.
Did you hear Rick say that Andrade was going to be his greatest son-in-law of all time? I mean...
Conrad, you okay? Conrad, it's all right.
Oh, let me just dry my tears with all my money.
Like, Conrad, you're still rich, Conrad.
I'm still rich. Oh, thank God. Well, I mean, if Megan ever divorces me, then I won't be. But hey, I don't think she's trying to break her dad's record for divorces. I hope.
Conrad,
what's going on, Regal?
I'm glad Rick left because I did get handed one more award for the best wrestling engagement.
The best wrestling engagement?
Yeah.
It's obviously me and Megan.
No, it was Becky. It was Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
For 2019, Andrade and Ashley got in. They got engaged in 2020.
Technically they did. So.
Yeah, what, were you trying to start shit again, Regal?
No, that's what I just got handed the award envelope. I just opened it.
There's no envelopes.
Yes, there is.
No, there weren't. And if there were, Alex would have took him with him when he left.
Alex didn't leave.
Yeah, he's gone.
No, he's.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
He's in the kitchen.
I gotta run the equipment.
Oh.
I heard you don't know how to do anything.
No, I know how to do stuff, Conrad.
Tony doesn't know how to do anything. Bruce doesn't know how to do anything.
Arn knows how
JR doesn't know how to do anything.
Arn knows how to breathe heavily into a microphone.
Yeah, he does. Let me. I'm gonna give my pick on some of these awards.
Conrad, you got picks? Okay.
Yeah.
What's pick?
Dumbest booking decision of the decade. Timothy Regal on a podcast. Who booked this shit? Timothy Regal on commentary. Who booked this shit? Timothy Regal on stage at StarCast. Who booked this shit?
I can tell you who booked that, Joey Janela.
Well, I don't give a fuck about Joey Janela.
Well, we were spending your money.
Well, yeah.
That White Claw came out of your budget, Conrad, so...
All right, well, follow me on Twitter at HeyHeyIt'sConrad, and we'll see you later. We'll see you next week on Off the Chest of Timothy Regal.
Shaka Khan.
Let me tell you something, baby.
Oh, Dusty.
Regal, I'm going to run through the awards real quick. I'm going to give you my opinion, if you will.
Oh, Dusty, I always want to hear your opinion.
The Blah 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 Packers Award goes to the game that Cody and Brandy went to, the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Packers, where they got beat. Although I wish it would have been the Atlanta Falcons. The next one, Best Conrad Thompson Podcast. It's the one that I'm planning for us to do up in Pearly Gates Championship Wrestling. Keep on dreaming. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be me and Conrad, American Dream Dusty Rhodes, if you will.
That'd be a great
the
podcast.
Hard Times Podcast.
That'd be a great podcast.
Best Snap. Hold on.
Damn it. God.
That was it. Top choice for opponent for The Undertaker in 2020. I'm going to go with Cody. I think Undertaker is going to go to AEW, if you will. Most overused match of the year. All the matches that didn't involve Cody or Dustin. This is my pick for that. And any matches that didn't involve Brandy. Most breakout star in AEW, NXT, or the Indies. I don't care about NXT or the Indies, even though those my kids in NXT. I got my real kids, my flesh and my blood. The earth was blood. The Rhodes is blood, and I'm going to pick my blood. Cody Rhodes, the most breakout star in AEW in 2019. The most shocking moment in pro wrestling in 2019. And I'm going to say it's when MJF, that egg-sucking dog, that no-good son of a bitch, turned his back on my son, Cody. I always hated MJF. The best and worst Twitter feud in 2019. I think it's when the Young Bucks deleted their Twitter. This friends with my son, Cody. Most likely to succeed in 2020. I'm going to say Cody. Who deserves the title the most in 2020? I say the tag team champions is going to go to the Rhodes brothers. The brothers Rhodes, Cody and Dustin, if you will. Dumbest booking decision of the decade is my good friend Vince McMahon didn't put the World Heavyweight title on Cody. He should have won that Money in the Bank in 2011. Can you imagine how different the course of history would have been if Cody would have won the Money in the Bank in 2011 and beat John Cena and would have been the greatest star of all time, baby. Dumbest booking decision. Oh, I already said that. The match of the decade had to be Cody and Dustin against the Shield with me in their corner. And I think it was the Proving Ground. Was it Stomping Ground?
I was expecting you to say Cody versus Dustin in Double or Nothing.
I like it better when they're on the same team and I'm in their corner. Let's see. Wrestler of the decade. It's going to be a 3-way tie between Cody, Dustin, and Brandy. The worst storyline of the year. The Dark Order. No, I'm just kidding. Rusev, Lana, and Lashley. Alright, thanks for letting me come on, Regal. Regal, did you forget about me in 2019? This is Lance Catamaran.
Well, Lance, you haven't been around.
I haven't been around, but I'm here. I am back to do the plugs. So you can go ahead and follow Margaret at Margaret_Adele. Follow Regal at SCWRegal444. Follow Alex at OneRealSmartAlex. Follow the podcast at Off the Chest TR. Follow the Slam Fam Wrestling Network at SlamFamWREST. For Timothy Regal and Alex McCarthy, this is Lance Catamaran. And we'll see you at the show.